Just about everybody. Okay. How many of you have been a little bit disappointed with your affirmations and your visualizations? If indeed you've been doing them. You think, okay, feel it. So let me show you how I put a program into my brain, and let me show you the outcome of what happened, because it's quite incredible. Every night I drove out to Heathrow Airport and I did what I call a dummy run. And when I tell people, they look at me as though I'm a dummy, and this is what I did. I thought, I've got to go to America, I'm going to get on a plane, fly to New York, land, go up the 69 floors, through the doors, and the guy's going to offer me the money for the deal. So next night, I drove out to Heathrow Airport and I put on a white suit, and I was really in the part. And I drove out there, parked the car, white suit, and I looked at that big jet and I thought, I'm getting on that jet, I'm going to go to New York, 67 floors up the skyscraper, and the guy's going to offer me the money for the deal. The next night I drove out to Heathrow and I made the vision even better. I bought myself some crocodile shoes. Right? This is what happened. Crocodile shoes, white suit, out to Heathrow Airport, and there I was. I'm looking at that plane. I thought, I'm on that plane. I'm going to fly to New York, land at New York, up the skyscraper, through the doors, and the man's going to offer me the money for the deal. Okay? Next night, true story. What did I do? Out to Heathrow Airport, right? Crocodile shoes, white suit, brand new briefcase. And it's getting nearer and nearer how I'm going to do this to get to America. So, looking at that plane, landing in New York, up the 69 floors, through the doors, and the guy in the publishing house offers me the money for the deal. One day, do you know what happened? Right, I've really arrived in New York. What do you think I was wearing? Most people say your pyjamas, because they think I've just kind of woken up out of this daydream. But no, I'm there in New York City, white suit, crocodile shoes, brand new briefcase, and I go up the 67 floors, through the door, and what they call the editor-in-chief, the top guy of this publishing house, said, we love it. He says, we're going to give you like a 6-figure advance, but 200 major cities in America. He says, we're going to bounce you all over America. He says, we're going to give you so many perks. He said, it's going to be fantastic. Right? That's what happened. I couldn't believe my ears. I put that program in, and I was in that office hearing this. What do you think happened next? What happened? Right at that moment. What happened? Trying to sign the deal. Any advance on that? What do you think happened?
You choked.
Choked. Choked.
No, as in you didn't go ahead.
I didn't go ahead. I blew it completely. The words that came out of my mouth, you wouldn't want to hear them. Oh, I can't be doing with that, and this is wrong, and that's wrong, and I'm this South London lad. And you won't believe the garbage that came out of my mouth, but I blew that deal to smithereens. And I walked out of that office with my tail between my legs, and it took me a long time to recuperate the financial loss and the psychological damage that I'd done to myself. Okay, now, I know for a fact that if you start putting programs in your mind, you're going to accomplish a huge amount of things. But I know, and I've done it myself, and I've met people who've come up to me and said, Ron, do you know what? I've been married 3 times, each for 7 years. And I've just woken up. My program is get married, and I just can't see it lasting more than 7 years. And when that program's run out, the whole thing just falls apart. Ron, I've just heard that story, and I've just realised I've built businesses up to the £1 million mark. The minute they're there, they go bust, and I walk out the back door, and I lose interest, and I can't tell, and it just all goes pear-shaped. Can any of you relate to what we're talking about, incomplete programming? Powerful, powerful stuff. So it's ever so kind of important when you're putting these programs in, to put complete programs in. What do you think I do now? If that had been a scenario now, what would I have done differently?
So you should have signed it.
I would have heard the conversation, I would have seen myself signing the deal, I would have taken the cheque, I would have seen myself putting the cheque in the bank, I might have spent a little bit of the money, I might have invested a little bit of money, I would have seen over and over again, right into the future, much, much more than what I had done then. So, case in point, right now, what do you think I'm visualising intently, morning, noon and night, for the Eureka Enigma that incidentally comes out in September? What do you think I'm programming in here? I'm programming in that I'm doing talks up and down the UK, all across the world, even in pre-launch mode, talking about the book, showing the book, selling the book, making it happen, right? I'm putting that program in about Oprah Winfrey, I'm putting the program in about publicity stunts, PR people, all sorts of things, as though it's really here. Do you think I visualised this little thing here tonight? Yeah. Absolutely, okay? Over and over again, putting that program into the brain. Okay, let's kind of get a little bit more into the programming, because I think this is a little bit kind of crucial. I've accomplished a huge amount of goals in my life, and I've told you, one of my passions is motorcycles. And one of the things that I've been doing for a few years now is investing a huge amount of time and money building a motorcycle to break the world land speed record. And my factory is up there in Milton Keynes, where my mechanics and my engineers are building this machine for me. One morning, I went up to visit them, and the workshops were all locked up and there was nobody there. So I thought, well, never mind, I'll go out and get myself a cup of coffee. I went round the corner, and there was this place called the Enigma Tavern, right? And I'm sitting there drinking my coffee, and I'm thinking, why is this place called the Enigma Tavern? And suddenly it just dawned on me, my workshop, my factory is right next door to Bletchley Park, where they did the code breaking for the Second World War. Do you remember the Colossus computer, which was ostensibly is the first computer in the world, which is as big as this room? It's absolutely massive. And they had to break the code of this little Enigma machine. Okay? Now, this is an interesting thing. And it's one of those things that I find myself in over and over again, being in the right place at the right time. So instead of going back to my factory, I got in my car and I thought, and like I say, it's right next door. I thought, instead of going to the factory, I'll go into Bletchley Park and have a look at the Enigma machine, because it suddenly dawned on me, I'm writing a book about cracking the code in the brain, and I'll go and have a look and explore about the Colossus computer that I knew was there, and the Enigma machine, and find out if that fits into my book. So I drove in, and as luck would have it, being in the right place at the right time, I met a guy there by the name of Tony Sale. Tony Sale's a very, very clever guy. Ex-MI5, very, very clever. He just spent 14 years rebuilding the Colossus computer to crack Second World War code. And it's actually working, cracking code. So I said to him, look, I'm not really interested in computers, I'm interested in biocomputers, how the brain works, and the right and left brain thinking. I said, can you tell me everything you know about the Colossus computer and the Enigma machine? Now, can you imagine somebody who's just spent 14 years of their life rebuilding the Colossus computer? I couldn't stop it. He was delighted to be telling me everything he knew about it. So I took copious notes for 3 hours, okay? 3 hours of understanding how the Colossus computer cracked the code of the Enigma and the RANs and all these other very, very sophisticated codes. And just out of interest, the Enigma machine is like a normal typewriter, but when you press the button A, up comes a B or a C or a Z, anything but an A. And when you press B, up comes a Z or a P or a Q. But when you press it again, different numbers come up. And it could create a permutation of codes 159 million. And that's more numbers than you can poke a stick at, right? It had so many ways of changing that code, it was an impossible code to crack. And they knew, the Brits knew, the only way to crack this German code was to create a computer or a mechanical method of cracking the code. And they came up with the Colossus computer.